I know that this could have been different if the West did not allow for that to happen. Yeah. 8 years ago when Russia attacked Crimea, but then also now, why do we still have to beg for the fighter jets, for long-range missiles, when the whole world is seeing that these are terror acts? This is basically what happened in 9/11, but they're doing it every single day to all of us. And the world is pretending that Russia is still, say, a trading partner, that they can buy oil and gas from them. They wouldn't be buying oil and gas from Al-Qaeda, from Bin Laden, from ISIS, but they continue to do that to fund terrorist attacks from Russia.
In Kremenchuk this morning, firefighters and soldiers are digging through the rubble at the shopping mall hit by a Russian missile. At least 15 people are known to have died, but many are still missing. Inna Sovsun is a Ukrainian MP and deputy opposition leader for the Holos party. We can speak to her now. Good morning, Inna.
Good morning to you.
What is your reaction to this horrendous act?
Well, of course, we are terrified, and of course, we are still waiting for the news. Actually, there is an update compared to what you just reported. Most recent number is 18 people confirmed dead, but of course, as of last night, 40 people have reported their family members missing, and they were around the area. So that is the potential number of victims. But of course, we understand that this is an act of terror. And this is the new strategy that Russia is employing for the last 4 days now. Massive attacks on the cities all over the country. That is what they're doing right now. And we are, of course, afraid that this is what they will continue to do right now.
What do you think that the aim is of this? Because the war is still raging in Donbass. They're having slow but some success in Donbass. What do you think they're trying to do with these attacks going across the country westwards?
I think that with people trying to get back to their normal lives, what they're trying to do right now is to make people scared again and make sure that everyone is just feeling scared and terrified, no matter which area of the country they're in. Because you could see the attacks in Kiev, the attack in Cherkasy, which hasn't been attacked before at all. Then, of course, the attacks on Kharkiv continue, but that was happening since day one of the war. But I think the major goal here is to make sure that everyone is just so scared and afraid and horrified. And that constitutes a terror attack, of course.
And it's a war crime as well, do you believe?
Yes, of course, definitely. There were not a single military target anywhere around, and they knew perfectly well that they are attacking a civilian target.
Does this, if this change in attack, these missiles that are coming all across the country, does that change what you need in terms of weapons from the West? Does it change your requests of what support you need, or does it just simply make it more urgent?
It makes it more urgent, and unfortunately, it makes the request for the air defense system for fighter jets much more urgent. Something that we have been talking from the very beginning of this war, helping us cover the sky, establish a no-fly zone. That is becoming much more urgent today compared to what it was before, of course.
Is there any chance of that happening? Because, as you say, we've talked about the supply of fighter jets, and it nearly happened at one point a couple of months ago, but then didn't. Is there any chance, do you think, that NATO countries will say, here, we'll find a way of supplying Ukraine with fighter jets?
We really hope so. Yes, that needs to happen. We really hope that it will. And we hope that with those attacks of the last couple of days, they will understand that it's inevitable. Otherwise, they're just letting them continue killing us.
It's a NATO meeting in Madrid today. What would you like to see come from it?
We want them to decide altogether that they need to continue supporting Ukraine, not in weapons they have, not in weapons they are willing to deliver, but in weapons that will save us and that will actually help us win in this war. And that is why we hope that they will decide on the fighter jets and that they will make decisions on the fighter jets, on the air defense systems, on the long-range missiles. That is what we need. Not some promises in the future, but today, right now.
Are you worried at all? There's some talk in our newspaper today that Boris Johnson is very opposed to this, but this argument that if there is a conclusion to the fighting in the Donbass region, Putin will talk about a ceasefire, and there will be some countries, some NATO countries, who then start talking about the need for peace, the need for some sort of settlement with Putin. Are you concerned about that prospect?
Well, I really hope that democratic countries would see what he's doing right now, and that they will realize that this is unacceptable. Accepting peace on Putin's terms right now, allowing him to save face, as Macron said, that is unacceptable, that is impossible, and they need to understand that. And of course, peace needs to be established on conditions that respect international law and basic human rights. And that is not what Putin is proposing. So I hope that the West will actually leave to its values that it has been promoting so long.
Do you hope that there'll be some decision made about getting Ukrainian wheat out of the ports? That seems to be another area that has been talked about a long time. And maybe this is the theme of our conversation, Inna, that a lot of these things we're talking about, we've personally spoken about for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and nothing seems to change. It seems like grain is another good example of that. Does there need to be some sort of bold action from the Western alliance that says there's this grain that's going to go rotten in Ukrainian ports, we have to get it out to help feed the world?
Well, there is a way to do that, to help us destroy the Russian fleet based in the Black Sea, in Crimea, which it annexed 8 years ago, and the West did not react. So there are reasons why they are doing it right now, because they were allowed to do so before. So what we are hoping for, of course, is that the West will take, will stop this strategy of appeasement, will stop the strategy of trying to pretend that the problem will solve itself, and will actually realize that this is a global problem. And in order to save global peace, in order to prevent World War II from happening, they need to intervene right now. And yes, they could do this by helping us establish, some sort of solution for the grain. But again, it can only work if we destroy the Russian fleet. So that is what needs to be done.
Are you getting frustrated, Inna? Did you feel that things aren't moving quickly enough?
We are getting frustrated and we are getting scared. I'll say a very personal thing, and I'll have to wrap up at that. I'm sorry. But I moved my son closer to Kyiv yesterday. And yesterday I was putting him back to bed. And he said, "Mom, I'm feeling really scared here because the war is closer. I don't want my son to go to bed thinking about how close the war is." And I know that this could have been different if the West did not allow for that to happen. Yeah. 8 years ago when Russia attacked Crimea, but then also now, why do we still have to beg for the fighter jets, for long-range missiles, when the whole world is seeing that these are terror acts? This is basically what happened in 9/11, but they're doing it every single day to all of us. And the world is pretending that Russia is still a fair trading partner, that they can buy oil and gas from them. They wouldn't be buying oil and gas from Al-Qaeda, from Bin Laden, from ISIS, but they continue to do that to fund terrorist attacks from Russia. That is why, yes, we are frustrated, we're scared, we want our lives back, and we want the world to understand that it needs to act.